Welcome everybody, yet another episode of WrestleMania where y'all know by now. Here on my show, I'm the champ. Do the bitches. Alright, night one of WrestleMania 37. Finally done. How many pages of notes did I write? Oh yeah, that's right, a little more than 4. For everything that happened. What are we going to remember this show for? Well, for starters, Mother Nature turning heel. So a big night to start off, where we had a few championship matches, World Star Hip Hop worthy match happening in the main event, and a big guy making his in-ring debut at WrestleMania. Let's see how WrestleMania 37 Night 1 was.
WrestleMania.
Alright, to start off the show, of course, is the first WWE event to actually have a crowd in there. Vince McMahon is on stage with a bunch of the talent, some that are wrestling tomorrow night, and a most amount that were happening their matches on the first night. Welcome everybody to WrestleMania. This is gonna be such good shit. Then you have, what was her name? Biba Rexa. I honestly never heard of her singing America the Beautiful. And then before the opening match can happen, Mother Nature turns heel. Because then they have to pause the show for about another 20 minutes. Because the rain starts falling down. Everybody's gotta get back indoors and everything like that. And then, while they're wasting time, you got a boatload of interviews. Then finally, when the delay stops, Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan come out. They start hyping up the crowd and everything, saying, "It's been 1 year, 1 month, 1 day since we have had a crowd here for WWE." I don't think we really care about the statistics on that. Alright, match numero uno, which feels weird to think about. The WWE Championship is on the line as Bobby Lashley, the almighty Bobby Lashley, defends the WWE Championship against former champion Drew McIntyre. This whole backstory, Drew had been holding the Raw and entire WWE, but mostly the Raw roster, on his back ever since this whole pandemic era kicked in. WWE Champion on and off a few times ever since WrestleMania 36 when he dethroned Brock Lesnar. Had a bit of title changes with Randy Orton and everything like that. He retained the championship in the Elimination Chamber match. In the Elimination Chamber, obviously, Bobby Lashley attacked him afterwards. The Miz successfully cashed in. And about a week or two later, Bobby Lashley defeats The Miz to become new WWE Champion. Drew McIntyre named number one contender. And Bobby Lashley tries to weaken down Drew McIntyre by putting a bounty on his head saying, "Whoever friggin' puts down Drew McIntyre so he cannot compete, you'll get a future WWE Championship match." Drew was fighting everybody off. Eventually, Baron Butt-fucking Corbin comes along, interferes and everything, but then all of a sudden we don't see him on this night for WrestleMania, so I don't get what the whole point of that was. So now we finally get this. So right off the bat, stalemates constantly back and forth. Honestly, when I think stalemates by two strong guys, I keep thinking Brock and Goldberg from WrestleMania 20, only less disastrous now. Shoulder block takes down Drew. Drew quickly gets a big belly-to-belly to Lashley, and a whole up yours. That's not PG. Lashley gets a spear in the corner onto Drew and the neckbreaker combo. Lashley ends up meeting the post and ends up hurting his shoulder, which does become a bit of a factor as time goes on. And even blocks an armbar attempt by Drew. A couple belly-to-belly suplexes and a jumping neckbreaker to Lashley. And even blocking Future Shock DDT. Seeing how many belly-to-belly suplexes we saw by Drew in this match, I kept getting flashbacks. It's like, oh god, I feel like I'm having a bit of a sense for Triple H Steiner from Royal Rumble 2003. Please do not do that. That's PTSD worthy right there. Lashley keeps trying to fight off the Kimura lock, which is a little weird to see Drew do that, seeing the move was mostly known for being used by the guy who he won the championship from. Even hits the Yokosuka cutter, or Yokosuka cutter, however it's pronounced, for a near fall. You don't really see that move all that often, do we? Then things really try to get heated up. You see Drew McIntyre locked in a tree of woe, hits a kind of a Beal throw slash belly-to-belly to Lashley off the top. Spinebuster for a second time ends up getting on Drew, but Drew kips up. Belly-to-belly, 3 Future Shock DDTs in a row for a near fall. Yeah, you're really making the move look strong there. Lashley avoids the Claymore kick. Somersault plunge all the way to the outside. Herlock gets stopped by Drew McIntyre. Spinebuster even gets reversed in the Kimura lock for a little while. But still, it's not enough to put away the big black man. Drew's about ready to go for the Claymore kick. MVP causes a distraction, goes for Claymore kick anyway. Lashley ends up ducking it. Herlock gets applied onto Drew. Drew tries that whole WrestleMania 8 type finish that we saw for Bret and Roddy Piper, where you reverse a hold by flipping off the ropes or out of the corner. But that doesn't do any good as Lashley helps roll through with it, and Lashley ends up getting Drew to pass out, not tap out. He passed out down on the canvas in the hold as Lashley retains the WWE Championship. Pretty strong opener. Even though we could still do away with some of the false finishes and everything, but overall strong opening contest for the WWE Championship. I would have preferred this to be the main event, even if it wasn't going to make the crowd go home happy. But you know what? A strong start to the night. Backstage, you see the NWO and Titus conversing backstage and everything, and then in comes White Oprah, aka Bailey, trying to act all cool and everything, trying to do the whole too sweet NWO, nobody's doing it. Nash fixer, I was like, eh. Good. Good move, Nash. You're even cooler than I thought. Match number 2, probably the match that nobody cares about, and I did not give a shit about either, because it's just thrown in there. The Tag Team Turmoil match with a 5th team that was added in. The Riot Squad, Lana and Naomi, Tamina and Natalya, Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, and Billie Kay and Carmella. Honestly, there were some things to remember. Lana was trying her best, but there were some botches in the matches. Everybody's bringing up Mandy Rose slipping on her entrance. The only notes I literally wrote in here was how each elimination happened, because everything else I did not care for. Roll-up elimination onto Naomi and Lana because Carmella was assisting Billie Kay on the roll-up, so that gets rid of Lana and Naomi, and I thought they were actually going to win. Riot Squad comes out next. Double knees to the gut and a senton combo onto Billie for the elimination. Nice little tag team maneuver there. Out come Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and I bet that made Jekyll and I real happy. Suplex and Swanton combo on a Liv, which I do like. That's a very good combo there. But then a small package reversal happens for another elimination. Then the final team comes out, Natalya and Tamina. Tamina gets the victory after a big Superfly splash as Natalya and Tamina win the Tag Team Turmoil, and that means WrestleMania 37 Night 2. They're going for the Tag Team Championships against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Honestly, we could do away without this match. Did not care for it. Did not feel like there was much of a flow. It's just there. Sloppy moments and everything, and again, Mandy Rose slipping on her entrance. That's all you remember. Nobody cared for this, and I didn't either. Again, the notes prove it. All I wrote, the finishes. Alright, match number 3 did not have the best build, but at least there was some intrigue to it. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Cesaro has never won a WrestleMania match before, at least, well, outside of the Battle Royal of 30. Every other ones he has lost, and that was brought up by Seth Rollins with this whole political type smear campaign. Let me think. What happened the last time that somebody got mentioned for having a bad WrestleMania track record? Oh, that's right, Big Show going into 28 and then he won. History repeats itself. Some memorable moments that we saw throughout this match. Cesaro tried to go for an avalanche gun wrench, but Seth Rollins countered into a big buckle bomb. I thought that move was supposed to be banned already. It hurts people. Seth Rollins even pulled out a superplex into a Falcon Arrow combo. Never get tired of seeing that. Constant running corner uppercuts and discus lariat for a near fall by Cesaro. Maybe that was done in spirit of Luke Harper. Yeah. 9 swings on to Seth Rollins, but that wouldn't be the end of it. Big finish splash by Seth Rollins for a near fall. Neutralizer by Cesaro also for a near fall, or Zazara, or however Seth says his name. Seth even pulls off the pedigree for 2. Way to make pedigree look strong, motherfucker. This spot I predicted. I knew this was going to happen. Seth tries to go for the stomp, reverse, Swiss uppercut in midair. I'm psychic, aren't I, motherfuckers? Big UFO move I haven't seen Cesaro do in a while, even doing it with no hands, just Seth spinning all over him. 23 swings, so he beats how much he did on SmackDown, whenever that was. Neutralizer, and Cesaro gets his first one-on-one victory at WrestleMania. Really good encounter. Like I said, the build could have been better. It felt like a bit of a rehash of what we saw with Big Show and Cody Rhodes about WrestleMania track records. But really good match. Even though they could have also done away a little bit with the false finishes with some of the finishers, but still pretty damn entertaining. Match numero 4. The Raw Tag Team Championship match is New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods take on AJ Styles in the in-ring debut of Osmosis Jones. Whatever his damn name is. But of course we had a bit of a throwback moment as Big E comes out, does his big New Day monologue. Tampa Bay! You know all that fun little stuff. Alright, so we saw some back and forth counters between Kofi and AJ, which, like, some of them saw an SOS reversed. Calf Crusher gets reversed, constant roll-up attempts. Kind of like the chemistry that we got between Kofi and AJ here. Whole story also with this, New Day was doing whatever they could to keep Amos away, show how intimidating he was. Saw Unicorn Stomp, Stampede, Combo, whatever it's called, constantly on AJ throughout the match. AJ missed with an enziguri. Kofi even gets a big splash on AJ's back for a near fall. Kofi gets taken out of the ring while Xavier Woods is on top. That's when AJ knows, he's like, oh, you're screwed. Tags in almost, and this is where things go bad for the New Day. Xavier tries going for kicks and drop kick, barging right at almost, but it's no good. It's like running into a brick wall. Kofi tries flying out of the air, gets caught by almost and just flipped inside out. Almost gets a couple running back corner elbows to both members of the New Day. Even gets a backbreaker stretch and Iron Claw combo onto Xavier Woods across his knee. At the end, AJ gets a phenomenal forearm to Xavier off the shoulders of Almost, and Almost gets an elevated two-handed spine buster on Kofi for the victory, as we got new tag team champions being AJ Styles and Almost. Not too bad. Pretty nice. Like, they didn't have to make Almost do that much. Let him do the whole no selling of everything offense that's coming at him, doing power moves and everything. Didn't really make him look weak, so good debut. Not a bad tag team match. And also they did a good job keeping with the story of doing what they could to keep Almost out of the match, because New Day was intimidated by him. Did a pretty good way to get him over. Alright, match number 5. I thought this was going to be a disaster, but ended up exceeding a bit my expectations. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. This whole build had been going on since February. Apparently Shane's the heel and Braun's the babyface, where Braun is just getting humiliated and called stupid by Shane McMahon all the time. Green paint dropping all over him and the report card stuff. They were supposed to have a match at Fastlane, but Shane said, oh, I'm injured. I cannot compete. So they delayed the match to WrestleMania because we knew something was going to happen, and then Braun makes it a steel cage match. The first steel cage match we get at WrestleMania since WrestleMania 2. So before the match can even get started, Braun's about to enter the ring, and both Elias and Jackson Ryker are constantly wailing on his legs, wicking him down with steel chairs. Smart thing to do, especially when it's a big guy. You definitely want to slow him down in case you got the speedy coward, aka the pussy, wanting to get away as fast as possible. Shane even wallops on Braun with the steel chair as well, but that does not last for too damn long. Later, Shane tries to climb to the top of the cage and even pulls off one of the panels that you see wrestlers usually stand upon if they're using it as a platform, and starts using that as a weapon. Braun tries to go for his running power slam, but his leg gives out, gets constantly rammed into the cage, and even gets hit with the DDT. And as Braun tries getting to his feet into the corner, Shane hits a big coast to coast, but still ain't enough because that's only a near fall, motherfucker. Soon Elias and Jackson Ryker come back. They're trying to climb up the cage to help get Shane out, but Braun knocks them both off the cage, and Shane ends up falling back down. Shane tries climbing up way into the corner area, and you see a couple of almost like cylindrical bags on both sides, like of different corners of the cage. Shane reaches into the one closest to him and pulls out a toolbox and hits Braun in the head with it. Shane ends up climbing down on the cage, sticks his hand right through it, he's like waving bye-bye, but Braun gets up, catches him, holds onto his hand, grabs part of the cage wall, and just rips it down and yanks Shane back in. Alright, I like the innovation there. Braun ends up taking Shane, putting him on top of the cage, just starts screaming at Shane, tosses him off the cage, and throws him into the ring. Braun gets back down, running power slam, and that's it. Braun Strowman defeats Shane McMahon to win the steel cage match, and hopefully win this god-awful feud. I am just glad they did not have Braun throw Shane off the top of the cage like he did to Kevin Owens back in 2018. Otherwise, he really would have been proven to be a complete fucking idiot. So next up, the commentary team was about to show the highlight package for the WWE Hall of Fame that recently happened, but then Bayley interrupts. He's like, here, I'm going to introduce it. So we get the hype package, that goes on, the Hall of Fame class comes onto the stage, everything, it's all good. And then we get the next stupid match. Damian Priest, Nevada Bunny versus The Miz and John Morrison. What do we see off the bat? A bunch of bunny costumes, people coming down to the ring, some of them with only one ear. And the first thing I saw was like, oh god, Adam Rose's bunny has been multiplying. Fuck me. And it's not any better when you see John Morrison and The Miz coming down and lip-syncing horribly their freaking song, Hey Hey Hop Hop, during their entrance, which makes it sound even fucking worse. I swear, I got 12 bottles of beer down in the fridge that I just got, and I should have freaking started drinking. God dang! So Damian Priest come down with his entrance, he got fire, and then Bad Bunny's riding on the bed of a semi-truck to make his entrance. We would have been better off seeing Dr. Disrespect coming down. That would have been a lot better for this. So the Miz is just constantly taunting Bad Bunny. He's like, go ahead, hit me. Right hand. Did you not learn your lesson from the last time you guys had a confrontation on Raw like a couple weeks ago? You don't give a celebrity the first shot because they're going to give it to you. Now, I will admit, Bad Bunny's athleticism was pretty impressive during the match, even though I still didn't care for this shit. Bad Bunny lands on his feet from a hip toss attempt and even gets a arm drag onto The Miz, whatever. Even gets that spinning head scissors onto The Miz, and even or it was either him or Morrison, I can't fucking remember. Then even hits a bunny hop to Morrison in the corner. After a while, both men, Miz and Morrison, are beating down Bad Bunny over and over, and John Morrison even taunts Booker T with a spinneroonie, a rare time where you see somebody else other than Booker T properly execute that damn move. To my surprise, Bad Bunny even hits a tornado DDT to The Miz before tagging in Damian Priest. Damian Priest even gets a suplex to The Miz into John Morrison, hits a sit-outside chokeslam or whatever move that is to The Miz for near fall, and both him and Bad Bunny get a double Falcon Arrow to The Miz and John Morrison. I guess Bad Bunny really was serious about training. So then The Miz and John Morrison are both on the outside. Damian Priest does a step up tope over the outside. Bad Bunny diving crossbody out to the outside. And that's probably one of the only high-flying moves celebrities can do anymore. Just whee! Skull Crushing Finale gets on Damian Priest, and thankfully they protect a finisher now because Bad Bunny breaks that up. At the end, I mentioned this in here, Bad Bunny hits a Canadian Destroyer on the floor to John Morrison. Can we please go 1 week in wrestling where a Canadian Destroyer is not done on television? That move went from being a finisher by Pete Williams to a move that everybody does that doesn't mean anything anymore. Christ almighty, everybody can do it. The Rock and Roll Express, I think, did it in AEW from the clip I saw on Twitter. That move's not special anymore. Why is everybody doing it? Then at the end, like, John Morrison's out, electric chair crossbody combo onto The Miz, and that's it. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest win against The Miz and John Morrison. Why was this match happening? I mean, like I said, Bad Bunny's athleticism was impressive, but still, why did we need this match? And now the match that was booked as the main event, it's either because of A, historical purposes, or B, just to send the crowd home happy, because that tag team match wasn't going to do it for me. If I was there, I would have been like, this is the main event of a celebrity in a tag team match. I'm going to walk right back out because that's not worthy either. But our main event for night one, Sasha Banks defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. This whole thing, Sasha being SmackDown Women's Champion since the fall, I think because probably since Hell in a Cell or something like that. Bianca Belair, EST, wins the Women's Royal Rumble match, challenges for the SmackDown Women's Championship. They can't get along as tag team partners for the SmackDown or Women's Tag Team titles or whatever the fuck. It's just like, this feud did not feel like it belongs in the main event because it did not feel like it was that big of a deal. Just because it's two black women, again, a fight that could just be in World Star, does not feel like it deserves to be a main event for WrestleMania. I would have been better off just a WWE Championship match. Bunch of reversals to start. You saw Bianca hit raise Sasha Banks up with an elevated double chicken wing, but that gets reversed to send Bianca to the outside. Sasha goes for a suicide dive. Bianca rolls right through it, gets Sasha up as a military press, and walks up the steps and drops her to the inside of the ring. Alright, that was fine. Sasha constantly focusing on Bianca Belair's hair, even constantly pulling out on the outside. Bianca reverses it and yanks Sasha Banks into the ring post through the outside. And to keep showing off Bianca's strength, vertical suplexes and even doing some slingshots just to get back in the vertical, like, oh, look how strong I am. Look how strong. Slingshot, strong. We get it. Bianca even hits a standing shooting star press to the back of Sasha Banks. Didn't know she had that in her. 450 splash gets blocked with a pair of knees. Bianca even gets a double powerbomb for a near fall onto Sasha. Tries to go for a third, but Sasha counters that into the facebuster. Sasha, I don't know if she was, nobody knows if she was going for a Meteora or a Frog Splash, but it became a Frog Splash. It looked mediocre. I mean, she performed a better one handful of years prior, WrestleManias and everything. This part, I don't know what really happened in the middle, because after that, my feed temporarily cut out. I had to refresh my page. Next thing I know, Bianca is in the bank statement, rolled backwards, roll forward, and quickly yanks at the ropes for a rope break. Bianca gets caught in a Tree of Woe, ducks out of the way to avoid the diving double knee by Sasha Banks. Sasha tries going for double knee in the corner, misses. Sasha is down on the ground. 450 splash by Bianca for barely near fall, and she's like, no, because she thought that was it. At the end, they're both constantly going for reversals and everything. Sasha Banks reverses the KOD, gets nastily whipped on the side of her body. You could see that welt after the bell rang and everything. Just like, again, World Star! KOD, or I think in WWE video games it's known as Cycle Driver. Uno, dos, tres. Bianca Belair is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. I don't know how long this one went on for. Wasn't that bad of a match. Pretty good back and forth, and thankfully, it did not take multiple uses of a specific finisher to win the match. We did not see the bank statement constantly locked on, or any other paying finisher that Sasha would have. It took only one KOD by Bianca Belair. I honestly did not know what her finisher was going into this, because again, I don't watch NXT. Thankfully, it did not take too many of the same finisher over and over to get the job done, so at least there's that. So overall, for the first night, pretty solid. Because like I said, the WWE Championship match was a really strong way to start off the show. I'm going to have to look up the card again, because I don't want to pull up my notebook there. Tag Team Turmoil match, nobody gave a fuck about. Cesaro, Seth Rollins, really damn good. Possibly the match of the night, probably out of the full event. Tag match, it was fine. Braun Strowman defeating Shane exceeded expectations, and thankfully, Braun did not screw up and cost himself the match by being an idiot. Bad tag match, no thank you. Main event, pretty good. I'll give it that. So, out of 10, I probably have to say about for the first night. Let's see how the second night goes. Like I said, there's one match I'm going to skip. I said that in my predictions, and I'm going to stick to it. So get ready for that. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below about WrestleMania 37 Night 1. And I'll catch you all next time for WrestleMania 37 Night 2 review. As long as I don't get a channel taken down during a Night 2 presentation like we saw last year. Cross my fingers. So thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. See ya. Champ has spoken, bitches.